Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. George and Nashima Tab, Life Without Limits Coaching and Counseling. And today we've got a great topic lined up. It's kind of a part two. We don't like to talk about problems and don't talk about solutions. So tonight is Why Women Cheat Solution. This is episode 7. And hope you're having a great day today. And I hope this is something said today here will be beneficial or be a blessing for you.
Absolutely.
You want to do our disclaimer?
So yes, good evening, everybody, and we're in our red in solidarity with women.
Yes.
Because women do rule and run the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good evening, and we're going to get started. First off, we would like to give our disclaimer. This is a public forum, and anything placed in the comment section is public and all can see it. So please be mindful of that as you make any comment or post. Also, if you have a private matter or something that you would like to address on a more private one-on-one basis, please send us an email to lifewithoutlimitscc@gmail.com, and we will get in contact with you. And remember to please share this video with others. Look for it on YouTube, like, comment, and just share it. Even if it's not anything for you, it may be something for somebody. If they get one tidbit from it, then we're doing what we want to do with doing this video.
And also remember, if we say something to offend you, we're not talking to you. We're talking to the people that you know.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with our topic tonight. But before we get started with our topic, actually, so just want to highlight. So last week we talked about why women cheat. And the two main concepts that we focused on were emotional unavailability and then a lack of affection and attention from their partner, their husband or spouse, partner. And so tonight we want to talk about some solutions to that. So last week we gave some examples, and we talked about Brother John who was at work. That was our comical example of what may happen with Miss Rosa and Brother John in the workplace.
We got a lot of prayer requests for Brother John.
Yes, just because she wasn't receiving emotional support and understanding at home, which is typically calls from a lack of empathy. So that's really what today's march, some of what was about today with the women marching and understanding women's rights and equal pay and all of these other things, has to do with really empathizing and understanding women in our place in the world. So we're going to go ahead and move into solutions. So the solutions for unavailability, we're going to put up a link at the end. I did put the link up and shared it out. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see it or even look at it, but we're going to put that link up at the end. And it's just a very funny way from Everybody Hates Chris way of an example of maybe emotional availability of what not to do. But it's a good way to identify it, because sometimes we think we're being supportive and we're not always being supportive. So first thing, what you want to do is basically you want to be able to listen attentively and without judgment. And that's just having an open heart and open mind and sit there and listen to what the woman is saying. What is she sharing with you? What is she saying about your day? And sometimes it is really hard to do, to just sit there and just listen and don't say anything and don't have an opinion. I know sometimes I literally have to practice. Don't say nothing. I'm like this to myself. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Be quiet. Be quiet. Just listen. Just listen. And I have to do that to remind myself that it's not about my opinion. It's not about me interjecting. But the same goes for you as the man when you're listening and supporting me.
And you know what, honey? One of the other things too that I had to learn is I had to put the remote down. Okay, so if she's talking, I really need to put the remote down. I need to put my cell phone. I need to mute my cell phone or even turn it off. Part of the challenge is, oftentimes we allow allow social media and we allow technology to infringe upon our communication time with our family.
Absolutely. So the other thing too with being able to empathize with your wife is to take her side for once, even if. And I'm not going to say lie, but just support her. You may not have to, you may not agree exactly with her, but you're supporting her and trying to have some understanding of how she may feel in that situation. So how do you do that? So we have a 3 letters, MVE, stands for mirror and validate, which is very closely related to together. They're almost intertwined. They overlap so much that it's really hard to break them apart whenever you're giving an example and showing it. So mirror, validate, and empathy. And so you want to talk about mirroring?
Absolutely. Mirror is just where you give the same emotion that she's giving. You know, when I first got involved in the sales industry, that was something that I learned. Some of you that are watching the video, you understand that. And you mirror. Basically, all you're doing is giving the same energy that they're giving you. Okay? And then validating. The validating is you're supporting the other person's truth. It's not your truth. Okay? But it's the other person's truth. And then the empathy is just putting yourself in their shoes. And I remember we used to say something, and some of you guys and ladies may have heard this before. Until you've seen what I've seen and heard what I've heard and done the things that I've done, you'll never feel the way that I feel about the things that I feel about. And so there's no way possible that we can all feel the same thing at the same time and see everything in the same way. But it doesn't mean that the other person is wrong and you're right, or you're wrong and the other person is right.
Excellent. And so we talked about acting this out and really trying to do a role play, but it's really kind of hard to know how that may be coming across in this setting. But I did just want to say the words to what it would sound like if you were, for example, mirroring the same reaction that your partner is giving. So, acknowledging, it may sound something like this, like, wow, I see you're upset, tell me what happened. And so all you're doing is you're acknowledging that something is wrong. And don't worry about getting it wrong. If the emotion that you state is wrong, don't worry about if you say the wrong emotion. She will let you know. Right. She was like, no, I'm not upset. I'm mad as hell. It might be what she say. Right. Or I'm very frustrated, or I'm disappointed. So they'll name the correct emotion.
Right. And this is not the time to correct. Right? This is not the time to really express your opinion on how you think. You always overreacting on stuff, and you need to just shut it down sometimes and not let that stuff get to you. Like, don't let them people get to you. This is not the place or the time for that.
Yeah. And supporting and validating her truth would simply be like, for example, if she said, well, I really think, Mary don't like me. And then you would just really repeat what she said. Wow, so you think Mary don't like you, or it sounds like Mary doesn't like you. And then empathy, of course, would be if I was in that situation, I would probably feel the same way.
Right. Remember, I want to repeat this again. Until you have seen what I've seen, heard what I've heard, experienced the things that I experienced, you're not going to feel about life and about things that happen to me like the way that I feel, because we haven't been on the same journey. Yeah, we may have been together now for 10 years, but what were we doing prior to that 10 years? But besides that, everybody has a different reality. Okay? So
the whole purpose for really a woman talking to you, venting what's happening, what's going on, and sharing her feelings is because that's part of her intimacy. That's how she connects with you. She's not looking for you to fix it. She just wants to share that with you. And that's how we are. I mean, I think about, even when I look at my kids, we have a son and we have a daughter, and how they think and talk and they share about things is completely different. Our daughter is very much relationship oriented and the friends and that sort of thing with her circles, but yet what our son does is completely different. It's usually surrounding an activity that they're all involved in, some kind of athletic activity. So now we're moving to the next thing, which is the next main concept, which was lack of affection and attention. And this is what we said led to John. John was giving all the attention. Every day he would say something, make some comment, and just doing a lot of noticing. So I'll let George share some things on that.
Well, I was just going to say, what was the tablet for last week?
Oh, last week's tablet was to practice speaking in your spouse's love language.
Right. How'd that go? Okay. And these tablets are just little things that you can do to help improve your relationship on a small level weekly, okay? But if you did a little bit every week and you did 52 changes at the end of the year, then you would have a totally different relationship.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so, what am I talking about, baby?
So I was just going to have you give some examples maybe of lack of affection and attention.
Okay.
So and here's one of the things that I wanted to say, because I know that I was like, oh, I got that. Mm-hmm. Then we get on and I'm like, well, you go over that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I just want to, I guess, express that don't buy into the fact that because a woman is independent, she's independent, successful, and Wonder Woman in your eyes, mm-hmm. that she doesn't want you to treat her like a queen. That she doesn't want the chivalry, that she doesn't want you to hold her hand, that she doesn't want you to open the door for her. And
you know what? And guys, if I could say something for some ladies, even like with Nashima, I had to teach her what side of the door to stand on for me to open the door for her. So for a lot of women, they've never had chivalry before. They never had a guy coming around. I had to teach her how to stay in the car and let me walk around and open the door for you.
Or witness it from your dad doing it for your mom or somebody in your family.
So a lot of this stuff is going to be new. I had to teach her that when we're walking on the sidewalk, you walk on the inside and I walk on the outside. And see, some women say, well, that's just too controlling and I can't have all that. But I'm going to tell you something. If a guy loves you, he wants to protect you.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, is that how you feel when I do those things?
Absolutely.
Do you feel controlled? Do you feel...
No, I don't feel controlled because he might be the head, but I'm the neck. The head can't do nothing without the neck. That has been my saying for years.
I guess it worked pretty good.
I mean, because sometimes, like I don't look at that as controlling. I do look at that as you protecting me.
Okay.
And in our house, we have our hierarchy or whatever you want to call it. We have our lives in order. It's God, family, then finances. I mean, that's the way we live. We live our life, and so. When we live our life that way, it's kind of natural. And like people look at, I'm not going to be submissive or domesticated. And I remember we was dating. I was like, I'm not domesticated. I ain't going to fix your plate or do all of that. And then I cooked you a nice meal, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, but it doesn't mean that we're powerless. Actually, to be submissive is to be powerful. Because then you are lending and letting someone else lead, and
that's complimenting each other. And see, what I realized is I used to think I had to be Superman. I gotta know it all. I gotta be it all. Well, you know what? That's why I invested a rib in a wife, right? Absolutely. And that was the rib, right? Get it? You get it? Okay, little dry humor. But so. I don't have to take the lead on everything. And so for example, when it comes to my daughter, women, I've dated women. I'm married to a woman. My mama was a woman and my sister. But outside of that, I don't know too much about raising a woman, a little girl, a girl into a woman. And so I follow her lead. And so if it's something that needs to be emphasized, I'm going to emphasize it. But I submit, to her.
Absolutely.
On that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So if it's on, even your knowledge base. I mean, you've got knowledge base in areas that sometimes I'm always like, well, how'd you know that? You know, we go through that all the time, and I'm always impressed with how much, how much she knows. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, just being mindful of the lack of affection and lack of attention.
Right.
And I know in a lot of situations, or not. In a lot of situations, or generally speaking, men are often, taught to be tough, and you don't show emotion, or you don't cry, or you don't express your emotion, or she knows that I love her. I did this. I paid the bills last month, so she know I love her, or I did this last month. Well, no, she needs to hear the words in addition to whatever your actions are as well.
Yeah, don't be like the guy. His wife, she came home, she looked at him and she said, honey, do you love me? And he looked at her and he said, yeah, I love you. What would make you ask that question? She said, because you never told me. He said, well, I told you when we got married, I loved you. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know. So don't be like that guy. One of the other things too, try to make note of, if your wife, if she put the eyelashes on, you want to notice that. If she's got hair color in her hair, you want to notice that. She got on a new pair of shoes. Wow, look, sometimes we think it, but it just doesn't make it out. It doesn't make it out of our mouths. And so you want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I really like that. Get accustomed to that. Make that a practice. Every day you should be getting up and saying, a compliment, and identifying something nice, something positive, something that you like. I really like the way you fixed them string beans last night. Right. And she might say, well, I opened them out of the can. You said, well, girl, you the best can opener I know. You follow me? So basically
make your wife your girlfriend and make your
That's right. You did it when you were dating.
I mean, when we date, we do all these things.
Remember when you was dating? You loved everything. That old dry cornbread, you didn't say that.
And speaking each other's love language is key. And just last week, and here's a good example that really made me feel special that George did was, I had a really rough commute one day. Like, it was 2 hours long for no reason. And I was just so tired when I got home. And the next day I had a nice little gift that was a little heart for my bracelet, which was just a nice, thoughtful gift to show you had a rough day yesterday. I appreciate you being out there and, doing what you do. So thank you. This is to show, that you're special to me and to the family. And that was an act of service. And it was an act of service and it was a gift. I like, those are my languages, act of service and gifts. So that definitely spoke to me. So practicing that is awesome. And this week for your tablet, we want you to practice the mirror, the validating, and the empathy.
Right. You want to go over that again? I know we got about 3 minutes.
Okay. So the mirror, validating, and the empathy. So the mirror and the validating really go hand in hand together. It's very close. So basically, you're gonna acknowledge the emotion that she is having, and you're going to mirror it by kind of giving the same energy to that. So if she comes in and she's like, oh man, I'm so tired, you don't want to say like, what, you tired? You want to be like, oh, you tired? You want to kind of mirror that same, and you want to validate, the same emotion that she's having. So, oh wow, I understand you said you're really tired today. What happened? What made you so tired today? And you want to hear her out and just let her talk about why she may be feeling the way that she's feeling. And then empathizing is, after the end of the story, you just make a very empathizing statement, such as, wow, if that happened to me today, I probably would feel the same way.
It goes a long way.
So that's the mirror, validating, and empathy. And again, practice that for the week. And we want you to continue the 5 love language thing. We want you to continue that, because that's something that basically would just carry you through. If you get off track, if you start doing that again, it's going to get you right back on track. So I want to give the disclaimer one other time before we close out and do that piece. And that is, again, that first I'll thank y'all for being on with us tonight. And this is a public forum, so anything that you say or post in the comment section. Please know that it is public. If you have a private matter, please send us an email to lifewithoutlimitscc@gmail.com. And please share, like, and post this video with others. And remember, when we do publish the video tonight, it's going to be that link. So if you didn't get a chance to see the link earlier, that we said that is just a good example of really what not to do. But it's a way to really identify in a real world kind of situation. And it's really funny. And then after hearing tonight's information, I think you'll be able to point out really quickly what the corrective action for that is.
And you're going to post that in the comments, right?
And I'll post it. I think when we publish it, we can edit it there, or it'll be in the comments.
And we'll post it in the comments. And also next week, we're going to be talking about creating a winning marriage. You know, one of the things that I learned after I've been married for a few years, I realized that when you're married, you can be each other's best support or your worst enemy. Mm-hmm. And I found that when we work together, man, things just happen. But when we're competing and we're working against each other, it kind of slows things down. Mm-hmm. And so creating a winning marriage, creating a winning relationship, one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to create that synergy, how to create that winning relationship that allows you to win in life, to win with your children, to win in every aspect of your life, because everything centers around the family. And that's why we believe, right?
Yeah, we believe that we empower the people that build the relationships. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and we look forward to seeing you. And remember, this is coaching, not counseling or therapy. So send an email if you have a private matter that you would like some feedback on.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Have a great rest of your week.